So we officially back with the racing recaps after taking a week off because I thought the ARCA West season opener was last week, but it turns out no, it's this weekend. And of course, this weekend marks the first of 3 NASCAR IndyCar crossover weekends. I know everyone's going to be saying, wait, isn't the number 2? Because St. Petersburg this week and Phoenix next week? No, the real answer is 3. Because a lot of people don't know the third one, which is the Streets of Markham, Ontario, is the third one. Because IndyCar has the NASCAR Canada Series as a companion support series for that weekend when IndyCar goes north of the border in August. So yeah, even though some people think it's 2 crossover weekends, the real answer is 3. But yeah, of course, we have trucks on the street circuit for the first time ever in the streets of St. Petersburg. And the IndyCar season is officially here. It's kind of sad when I get more hyped up for IndyCar and F1 over NASCAR. Try telling that to me 15, 20 years ago, I would have slapped you silly. But these are the times we live in now. So let's take a look at the action this weekend. So, starting off, we have the Truck Series race at St. Petersburg, and where the trucks will run a street circuit for the first time ever, because you know what? We've had Cup run on the streets of Chicago, we've had the Xfinity O'Reilly Series run on the streets of Chicago, and they're going to be running on the streets of San Diego later this year along with trucks. So you know what? Since Cup and O'Reilly Series do it, it's the Truck Series' turn to have at it. And they get to do it on a standalone weekend with IndyCar. So yeah, after seeing the Cup and O'Reilly Series cars on the street circuit, it's now the Truck Series time to shine on the streets. And of course, we'd have some IndyCar guys making the crossover, even Colin Braun making his return to the Truck Series. Damn, I was wondering what was happening to Colin Braun. I haven't heard that name in a God knows how long. I don't think I've seen him in NASCAR since like 2010. It's been a hot minute since he was last in a top 3 touring series. Jesus Christ. We also have James Hinchcliffe making a Truck Series start. And of course, another IndyCar legend making a Truck Series start. As the other guy making a Truck Series start for this weekend is... Wait a minute. Am I reading this correctly? Dario Franchitti? What? Wait, no. There's no way Dario's medically cleared. There's not a chance. There's no way he's cleared. He was forced to retire from the IndyCar 13 years ago when he suffered that cervical spinal stenosis injury from his career-ending crash at Houston in 2013. Wait, this is actually real? NASCAR committee, you mean to tell me that he's cleared and he can race? Even though 13 years ago he was told that if he raced again, he'd be risking paralysis or possibly death. Are you sure he's cleared? Are you actually positively sure he's cleared? You know what? I'm going to do something rare for this channel. I'm going to take the NASCAR's community's word for it. And I'm going to trust you in what you're saying that about Dario Franchitti being cleared true. I'll take your word for it.
I trust you.
So yeah, Dario Franchitti is making his return to racing for the first time in 13 years. After that crash we thought ended his career 13 years ago. Turned out the death of his career was greatly exaggerated. And yeah, he would end up in a piston match in this race with James Hinchcliffe at one point. Yep, even in NASCAR, some IndyCar beefs still carry over. And of course, there was going to be a lot of questions coming in because some people were concerned that this was going to be a shit show race because it's a street circuit. Trucks never been on a street circuit before. Plus, trucks drivers have about the same respect as an average ARCA driver. Plus, practice and qualifying got rained out. Plus, this is mainly an IndyCar track for IndyCar only. All I say is, some fans need to learn to stop jumping to conclusions and just let some shit play out. Like, this truck race is an example of why you actually run the fucking races instead of being a fucking idiot and jumping straight to conclusions. Because this truck race was actually pretty solid. It was actually a pretty solid race. You had some comers and goers. Mainly, the two main drivers battling for this win were Ben Rhodes and Lane Riggs. As Ben Rhodes had a good truck early on, but Lane Riggs got the lead and took over. Like, it played out to be a three-truck battle at the end of this race. We even had some interesting spotter stands at this race, where some spotters literally climbed a tree to do spotting in one of the stadium section, in one of the park sections. NASCAR spotters having to climb trees. Interesting. I didn't have that one on my 2026 NASCAR bingo card. But hey, I'll give props to NASCAR spotters for the creativity. Like, in terms of spotters using the trees, climbing trees to spot for their drivers, I'll give them 10 out of 10 points for creativity. That's actually pretty impressive, not gonna lie. But this was a pretty solid race, some good passing. And in the end, it was a three-truck battle at the end between Lane Riggs, Ty Majeski, and Ben Rhodes. Even though Ben Rhodes did fall off late in the late going, and even though Ty Majeski gave his best efforts at the end, he just could not get to Lane Riggs and ran out of time. And Lane Riggs goes on and wins the inaugural Truck Series race in St. Petersburg. So Lane Riggs gets his first win of the year, and Lane Riggs stands tall for the Truck Series on a street circuit. So Lane Riggs wins the first street circuit race in Truck Series history. A little history for him there. So congrats to Lane Riggs on the win. Very well done by him. Great drive out of him. You know, this is a pretty solid truck race. Like, honestly, I'll say this. The Truck Series is another example that street circuits can work with stock cars and stock trucks if done correctly. Like, honestly, this all but proves that what we say the last couple years with the next-gen car on road courses. The tracks were never the problem with the car. Were never the problem. It was always the char and the stage cautions. I mean, that case is especially true at the Roval. Like, in terms of Charlotte Roval, the track was never the problem. It was the goddamn car, and that's especially true concerned that the O'Reilly Series, Xfinity Series, it kept putting on banger after banger after banger at the Roval. And the Truck Series race on the Roval wasn't too bad, too. So yeah, more proof there. But let's be honest, even if the racing is good, the fans are still going to complain and hate about road courses because, you know, oval fans let IndyCar and F1 live so rent-free in their head, it's not even funny. Like, I'll say this. Road course hate in NASCAR is so fucking forced, it's honestly pathetic, not gonna lie. Like, seriously, if you want to argue that isn't forced, just take a look at the NASCAR Twitter Hero Tracks Hero Villain Meter, and look at the villain meter with how many road courses are in the top 8, and try and convince me that road course hate in NASCAR isn't forced. I know some will argue saying, oh, but Watkins Glen's in the hero section. How can it be forced? All I say is context. I mean, with Watkins Glen on the hero side, I mean, hey, the NASCAR oval slappy's got to make it look less obvious that road course hate is so forced. They got to make it less obvious to throw everyone off because I'm pretty sure the NASCAR oval slappies know I'm onto them. So they're trying everything in their power to get me off their game, to get me off my game. All I just say to the oval slappies is be warned, I'm on to you. I am going to watch you all like a goddamn hawk. And when you slip up, I will pounce. And you best bank on that. But yeah, and I'll say this, that argument about the too many road course argument, there is no such thing as too many road courses in NASCAR. All I say is whoever made that dog shit narrative in the NASCAR community, because I'm pretty convinced whoever made that stupid argument was a NASCAR oval slappy. So yeah, whichever oval slappy made that dog shit narrative, they're a fucking dumbass that surrounds himself with even bigger dumbasses in the NASCAR community. Let's get that straight. And the sooner you all get that through your heads, the better off this community will be. But yeah, like honestly, even if the races are good, even if road course races are good, fans will still complain about it. Because, you know, road course races are, and they'll say it's too boring. Because the races are too real to them compared to a dumb derby shit show on a stupid speedway. But yeah, there are times where I definitely hate the fan base. And usually the road course thing is where I really hate the fan base. And I don't know why the fuck they're complaining, considering that we have how many oval races on the calendar? And even if Mexico and Montreal are on the Cup schedule next year, you're still looking at 30 out of 36, you fucking ungrateful spoiled brats. Already bad enough that we replaced the Roval with a second Charlotte Oval date. Because the fans whine and cry like little brats. Like honestly, the whole thing about the tracks not being the problem, that was the car and the stage cautions thing. Like, the only reason the fan base won't pull that argument, the oval slappies won't pull that argument, is because the oval slappies will find any shortcut to take the easy way out instead of looking at the real problems and addressing it head on. And all I say is to any oval slappy that wants to debate me on it, prove me wrong with your actions. Don't go in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. Prove it to me with actions. Because your word means fuck all if you don't have the actions to back it up. But yeah, now with that rant done, let's get on to the other races. Alright, let's take a break from the road course action, and let's jump straight into the ARCA West season opener at Kern County Speedway. As a new ARCA West season has opened up, even with the return of Hailie Deegan in the ARCA West series. Oh god, Deegan's back in the NASCAR fold, and that means NASCAR fans once again have to deal with the fucking Deegan simps again. Good god. All I say is thankful. The one positive I'll say about the Deegan simps is at least they're not as bad as the Decker simps. Especially with how bad Natalie Decker was at Daytona. Like, she was so fucking bad at Daytona, she makes Lance Stroll look competent. Like, if we had a Spastic Maxine of the Year award for a NASCAR, Natalie Decker is easily the front runner. And for anyone that wants to know what Spastic Maxine is, it's the most I'm kind of retarded moment of the year. Because Natalie Decker definitely is the front runner for the most I'm kind of retarded moment of the year. With what happened in Daytona a couple weeks ago. Because what Natalie did is literally the definition of the word retarded. But anyway, enough about Daytona. Back to the racing itself. Well, ARCA West, well, it's ARCA, not much to say here. Like, this race was dominated by Sean Hangraney, as he dominated throughout the majority of this race, leading the first 135 laps. Even though Trevor Huddleston did make an effort to try and pass him in the late going and run him down, he just could not have any answers from it. A couple cautions didn't go his favor. And Sean had in the bag until late in the race when Mason Massey makes a run at the lead. And he gets the lead and gets the lead with 15 to go. And then holds on to it for about the last 32 laps because the race got extended 17 extra laps due to ARCA overtime. Because ARCA overtime still exists with the one attempt at the 2-lap shootout and then the limited attempts of 1-lap overtime until we have a green flag finish. Like, fucking ARCA overtime is so fucking stupid. I fucking hate ARCA overtime with a burning passion. It's so goddamn stupid. And Mason Massey goes on and wins the season opener at Kern County Speedway. So yeah, Sean dominated the race, only for Massey to steal it under him in the close at the 11th hour. So yeah, Mason Massey comes out of nowhere and survives the bullshit of ARCA overtime to take the win. Honestly, good job to Mason Massey. And good win out of him. But yeah, I mean, typical ARCA West shenanigans, not much to say else there. But yeah, at least ARCA West is back now. And don't worry, ARCA East season is just around the corner. In terms of the Canada Series and everybody else, they're going to have to wait for a little bit, though. And now we get to our main event of the weekend, the IndyCar season opener at St. Petersburg, with a new IndyCar season officially upon us. And of course, we have the IndyCar drivers voice their opinions on the points format too. And look at that convincing argument. Out of the 25 full-time drivers, 22 of them said full season points is the way to go. NASCAR community can take some notes for this. And all I say is whichever 3 drivers from IndyCar's full-time grid voted for a playoff format, those 3 drivers need to get kicked in the fucking balls ASAP. Season-long points is the way to go. Like, honestly, there's a lot of reasons why to get more hype for IndyCar season than NASCAR. Mainly because no stage cautions and no stages in general. Like, for NASCAR, I don't mind the stages. I just hate the fucking stage cautions. They're fucking stupid. Like, honestly, if NASCAR got rid of the stages cautions, I don't think people would mind or care about the stages at all. Hell, if we got rid of the stage cautions in NASCAR, I'm pretty sure a lot of the NASCAR fan base would forget stages even existed. I'm just gonna throw that out there for everybody. But yeah, it's a lot easier to get more hype for IndyCar and F1 because less gimmicks, less bullshit, and IndyCar does this magical thing called let the drivers actually fucking race. Something NASCAR could never do unless they magically get their heads out of their asses and get rid of the stage cautions. But that's a topic for another day. But of course, we got their season underway. And once again, for like the 3rd or 4th year in a row, we had a Lab 1 safety car after a crash on Lab 1. And this one involving Stingray Robb, Santino Ferrucci, and Mick Schumacher. Oh yeah, I forgot Mick Schumacher's in IndyCar this year. I guess he got bored of being a test driver in F1 and came to IndyCar. But that sucks for Mick. First race, he didn't even complete 1 lap. What a shame. Hopefully this isn't a sign of things to come and Mick turns it around in the future. I actually have some high hopes for Mick Schumacher. Honestly, he's definitely an upgrade over Devlin DeFrancesco. But, oof, that's not the way you want to start your IndyCar career. Goddamn. But after that, though, really the first third of this race was Scott McLaughlin as he had the car to beat. Until Alex Palou, our 4-time reigning and champion, would get the lead on pit strategy when it cycled out. And then we get the big turning point on lap 40 when Alex Palou would get a perfectly timed safety car when Scott Dixon picked the fine time to leave me loose wheel. As Dixon had a loose wheel that brought a full course safety car. And then once Palou got the lead and got the track position, well, we know how this goes. Like, honestly, for the remaining about 60 laps of this race, I could literally pull a segment from last year's IndyCar St. Petersburg Recap, and it would honestly be about just the same. Because Palou got the lead, Palou dominate, Palou win with ease. Wash, rinse, repeat. As like last year, and I believe the year before that, Alex Palou begins his championship season, his championship defense, with a dominant win in St. Petersburg. So yeah, the more things change in IndyCar and motorsports, the more some things change the same. Mainly Palou bitch slapping the field again. And also, for everyone that's praying for Palou to go into F1, that's not happening as Palou has no intentions of going to F1 anytime soon. So Palou wins, as it seems like Palou is once again going to be the favorite for the championship. Based on that performance, as Palou's picking right back up where he left off last year. Because keep in mind, last year Palou had a chance to win double digits. He didn't get it done. As Palou said that even though he had a dominant season, he still lost over half the races, and that drives him to get even more hungry. So yeah, not only does Palou want to win another championship and get 4 in a row and complete a four-peat and a 5th in 6 years, seems like Palou's hungry to go get a double-digit win season in IndyCar. So yeah, Palou gonna be the front runner to win the championship. All I say is, for anyone that's complaining about Palou's dominance, about how it could bore fans, all I say is, well, it's a skill issue. Get good. You have 17 races left. Make the most of it. Yeah, I keep forgetting this year's IndyCar season's now 18 races because of Donald Trump signed that executive order to make IndyCar race in Washington, D.C. this year. And I think D.C. may or may not be a disaster. I mean, we don't even know what the layout is. And it's pretty hard to plan a road course in less than a year. Like, usually for street circuits, you need at least 2-3 years to properly plan it. But yeah, time will tell how DC plays out, but yeah. And of course, next week we have IndyCar going to an oval with the return to Phoenix. And one of the rare times where NASCAR doesn't cockblock IndyCar from racing on an ISC track. Yeah, and all I say to the NASCAR Ovals fans is, write all the puff pieces you want about saying, oh, NASCAR doesn't cockblock IndyCar on ISC tracks. NASCAR just won't pay the fees for IndyCar to race there. You can make that argument all you want to say that NASCAR doesn't cockblock them. I'll still have a hard time believing that argument, especially after the shit that came out in the lawsuit, especially with what NASCAR thought of SRX. Like, with how they thought of them that, well, we just imagine what they think of IndyCar and F1. You know, their main competition in motorsports, the competition NASCAR should be more focused on instead of the NBA, the NHL, MLB, or even NFL. NASCAR should be more focused about the other motorsports they compete against, you know, like an IndyCar, like an F1, like a MotoGP, like an IMSA, and the list goes on and on and on and on, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, congrats to Palou on the win in St. Petersburg. Well deserved by him. Palou picking right back up where he left off. He's on a mission this year. Not only for a four-peat, but to get at least 10. Yes, 10 wins this year. Can Palou get there? Well, he's got 1 win down. Only 9 more to go. We'll see if he can continue that run at Phoenix. Anyway, at least with Phoenix next week, at least we don't get like a 1 month time off between races. As IndyCar has actually used their schedule timing a lot better than they've had in years past. That's the one thing I like about IndyCar now this year, is they actually use their schedule spaces wisely. It's an improvement, that's for sure. But anyway, that wraps it up here. See you all later for Phoenix next week. I'm out.